It's been years and tireless hours, but I think we finally figured out someone flushed the toilet. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to JBuck Studios, your home for reviews, reactions, and of course, ridiculousness. And we're finally checking out the brand new live-action Disney original movie, origin story almost of sense. I was able to check it out a little bit early. Shout out to Disney, and it's called Cruella. Set in 1970s London, the film follows Estelle DeVille, an aspiring fashion designer, and explores the path that will lead her to become a notorious criminal. So is this kind of origin story of this villain that doesn't like dogs a must-see this coming weekend? Let's find out. But before I get into my thoughts, let me know what you thought of Cruella, if you're looking forward to it, if you've already seen it, if you don't want to see this woman mess around with any of those poor little puppies, let me know in the comments down below. Now, let's get into some of the good. I'm gonna be honest, I was very skeptical about Cruella because Disney has taken all of their animation and just turning it into live action. But this one was essentially an origin story, looking into a character that we haven't really gotten a backstory for. Some people were saying that, who needs this? No one asked for this, and I was there as well. And I am completely wrong about that opinion because I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I thought that what they found in this origin story of a sense, and what they got of a story combined with the time period, I mean, overall, this whole movie and story is unique, is fresh. If I had to compare it against any of the other live-action Disney movies that we've already gotten, this is probably the top tier so far. This is the best of the best because what they put into this story is fleshing out a character, bringing in a story that is unique, playing into kind of homages that were in the cartoon or even the early 2000s or 90s live-action 101 Dalmatians. Like, what they have here is wonderful. Like those other ones, no shade or anything, but they had templates to go to. This feels original, this feels fleshed out, and again, it's very stylized, it's unique, it's fresh, it's like punk rock in a sense that we'll get into later. But the main thing, aside from just the fresh idea here, is the ensemble cast that's again playing homage to what we've seen before, but entirely making it themselves, or kind of fleshing out the characters before we knew those characters. Like, for example, Jasper and Horace, played by Joel Fry and Paul Walter Hauser, I thought were tremendous. What they did here, how they added them into the mix of kind of being these counterparts, but also being their own characters, very much fleshing them out rather than bad guy sidekick 1 and 2. I thought that they both gave personality to these two characters and honestly added some much needed kind of humor here or there. I mean, this is overall a much darker take on a Disney live action movie. Obviously with Cruella, it's gonna be a little bit darker, but I like that they added kind of some lightheartedness, some kind of humor into the mix. But it's not just those two guys, but they also have these dogs that are kind of like counterparts to them. I think Winks or Winky is a little tiny chihuahua with an eye patch. I thought he was absolutely adorable. So those two, combined with their little dog counterparts, I thought worked. But the main crux here, the conflict, the performances, Emma Thompson, Emma Stone, boom, the Emmas going head to head. I thought that their performances here were wonderful. I mean, they each took these characters, again, Emma Thompson being this kind of new baroness, high fashion, very much Devil Wears Prada type character, and then Emma Stone being Estella, aka Cruella, throughout this movie. And you can see how they find their character and essentially evolve into those characters at the end of the story. So their performances were all around phenomenal, but I think their chemistry, or almost like head-butting kind of chemistry of, again, it being Devil Wears Prada meets like an origin story with homage to the original, but also in a revenge kind of I'm going to be better than you attitude running through this. I thought that it was wonderful. And Emma Stone playing essentially two different characters is such an interesting kind of dynamic. Like, some people are like, oh, it's Disney's Joker. I mean, she does capture two personalities, two identities in this movie that I thought worked tremendously. And adding those dual cherries on top are the kind of stylized fashion, the costuming in here, combined with the punk rock music that suits every single scene. Like, the fashion, the costuming, the outfits very much feel reminiscent of that 1970s British fashion and whatnot, coming up through the ranks essentially. But then with Cruella's style, it's very much kind of punk rock, it's experimental, it has a hint of modern day Lady Gaga mixed into the mix essentially, and I thought that that was so fresh and vibrant because it's colorful, it's drab, it's like the almost Zoolander garbage fashion show kind of material that Cruella's bringing into the mix. And then on top of that, like I said, layering all of the kind of punk rock music at that time, combined with that some other music, especially the very ending, I thought worked so, it was so much fun. Like, some of these scenes where Cruella is just stirring up trouble, combined with the music and the costuming she's wearing, is so, like, it's great. It's wonderful. However, getting into some cons of Cruella, I mean, these are two tiny nitpicks, essentially. One of which is the CGI. I mean, there's some scenes here or there that you're like, maybe that's not working so much, especially with the dogs. I mean, you can't train a dog to do what they're doing in this movie, and it did feel a little jarring. Again, maybe it'll be polished up for the big screen and whatnot. That's a nitpick. But another nitpick is essentially the origin story. How much time was spent on the origin story? And it's not Emma Stone's origin story, it's when she's very young, like her being a child essentially, and finding out what happened with her mother and kind of setting up the story as it goes. I think that they maybe spent a little too much time with that younger character. I mean, it's 15-20 minutes, so not a ton of the run length, but I do think that it still detracted from the main part of the story. You want to see adult, or, you know, the fleshed out Estella Cruella going up against this Baroness in fashion, rather than kind of her days at school. Overall, Cruella is by far the best Disney live action to date, mark my words. With it again fleshing out this unique story with a fun ensemble, great performances, Emma Stone, Emma Thompson, and great music and fashion, with a few nitpicks here or there, I cannot recommend Cruella high enough. I had low expectations, I'm gonna be honest, and I was thoroughly blown away. I was having fun, I was smiling, I was laughing. This is a great movie. Again, a little bit darker of a take, just in case some of your kids might not like that darker take, because the beginning is, it gets dark. But overall, I think this is a great kind of direction that Disney can move forward with these live action movies. In closing, I'm going to give Cruella 4 out of 5 Dalmatian puppies. So what did you all think of Cruella? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Were you kind of in the between? Or do you still think that this is the best Disney live action movie we've gotten to date? I want to know in the comments down below. Please let me know, because I had a fun time with this one. Anyways though, as always, thank you so much for watching. Watch some more videos up there, or right over there, you know, brand new content every single week here on the JBuck Studios channel. Be sure to follow my TikTok down below, and also my brand new JBuck Shorts YouTube channel. I'm throwing a bunch of content, bite-sized content over there, so go and check that out. Like this video, subscribe to the JBuck Studios channel, and until next time, we'll see you later.